My family threw me out and humiliated me on social media, but they forgot I inherited part ownership of their house from my grandfather. I lost my welding job 5 months ago when the company downsized. Best job I ever had, honestly. Worked there for 7 years, made decent money, had my own apartment. When I got laid off, I couldn't find anything that paid nearly as well. After 2 months of searching, I had to give up my apartment. My parents said I could stay in their finished basement, paying $400 a month with my crappy new hardware store job. Yesterday, I finally landed a decent welding gig starting Monday. Things were looking up. I even told my mom about it over breakfast before heading to my last day at the hardware store. I pulled into our neighborhood around 6 p.m., tired but feeling good. As I turned onto our street, I noticed a small crowd on our front lawn. Then I saw black garbage bags scattered across the grass. My brain didn't process what was happening at first. I parked across the street, confused, and that's when I saw my mom with her phone out recording. My sister Melissa, 26, was next to her filming. My brother Tyler, 31, was pacing around looking amped up. Dad stood on the porch with his arms crossed. That's when I realized all those bags were my stuff. Everything I owned thrown out like trash. Mom started narrating to her phone, saying I was 29, living in her basement like a parasite, and it was time to get out. Tyler kicked one of my bags and said, "Finally, the family loser is gone." My sister was live streaming to her 20,000 followers saying, "Y'all are watching my loser brother get what he deserves. He owes mom $8,000 in back rent. $8,000. We agreed on $400 a month. I'd been there 5 months. That's $2,000 max, and I'd paid $1,800. I was only behind by $200 waiting for my last paycheck. Dad stormed down and threw my car keys at my face. They hit me in the cheek. He said I wasn't their son anymore, that real men don't mooch off their parents. Our neighbors were watching and recording everything. Mrs. Davidson actually shouted it was about time. They were tired of my beat-up Honda lowering property values. I was completely blindsided. Last night, everything seemed normal. We even watched basketball together. This morning, mom made me breakfast, and now this. Later, I found out what happened. My sister went through my stuff while I was at work and found my job offer letter with the good salary. Instead of being happy, mom panicked because she'd been telling everyone I was unemployed and mooching. When Melissa showed her I'd be making decent money, her victim narrative would fall apart, so she decided to kick me out before I could start. I was angry but didn't give them the satisfaction. I just smiled, started loading my stuff, and told them they'd be hearing from me soon. Here's what they don't know. My grandfather left me 40% ownership of their house in a trust 3 years ago. I never said anything because I didn't want family drama. Grandpa knew how they treated me and set it up as protection. I called my grandfather's attorney the next morning. The trust is valid, and I have legal ownership stake in their house. They can't legally throw me out without my consent. The attorney discovered they'd been collecting rental income from other properties I partially own. Over $50,000 I was legally entitled to a percentage of. While I was struggling and being called a mooch, they were stealing money that belonged to me. We sent legal papers demanding back payment and acknowledgement of my ownership rights. Their panic was immediate. Mom sent 11 all-caps texts demanding I call. Tyler showed up at my new job with friends trying to intimidate me. Dad threatened to spread lies about me stealing from his business. They sent relatives to guilt me and tried everything to make me back down. The bank investigated loans they'd taken against the properties without my required consent as part owner. Those loans were potentially invalid. My family faced serious financial trouble. Their lawyer eventually contacted mine, accepting our terms. They'd pay all back rent owed in installments, acknowledge they'd misrepresented the financial situation, and issue a formal apology for the public humiliation. My sister lost thousands of followers when people found out the truth about her parasite brother story. Tyler occasionally texts now, actually trying to be decent for once. My parents sent a written apology and the first payment check. Dad's note said he was sorry and hoped we could talk sometime. Too little, too late. For 29 years, I thought I was the family disappointment. Turns out I was just the family member they were stealing from. They humiliated me publicly, called me a parasite, and threw me out while filming it for entertainment. They weren't sorry until they realized it would cost them financially. I don't hate them anymore, but I don't need them either. Sometimes you don't realize what you're losing until it's gone, and now they're learning that lesson the expensive way.